Hey guys, welcome. I'm going a little off course from gardening and flowers, but I happen to be a pretty good baker. I have this amazing monkey bread recipe. It's the savory, crispy, buttery type roll that you put in a bundt pan. My niece actually asked for the recipe this morning and I kind of forgot about it. It's been hidden in my recipe book for a while. I've been making my other traditional rolls and she was searching online and she could not find any recipe for monkey bread that wasn't sweet. So this is the non-sweet kind. It's so good. I'm going to show you a picture right now of it, one that I made. My kids absolutely go bonkers over it. They love it. It's easy and it's just actually pretty darn addictive. So be careful on that. So the first step I'm going to do is get my yeast. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of dry active yeast. I get this one from Costco. It's been over a year and it's still really active. I love this yeast. You get a bunch for not very much. And then I'm going to get 2 cups of lukewarm water. I already had this warming up, so you didn't have to sit and watch me wait for it to get warm. I'll put 2 cups in there. Make sure that doesn't spill onto my wood floor. Here we go. And then I'll just add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Okay, so I'm going to let that dissolve for 5 minutes. It should get really frothy and foamy. I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so here it is. It's all frothy and bubbly, and all that yeast is dissolved. I have to give credit to my mom. This is actually her recipe. She's an amazing cook, and I get so many compliments on this, so thanks, Mom. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to have to put in my mixer, of course. I hadn't done that yet. I love my KitchenAid. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of sugar. Then I'll add 2 eggs. So right here I have a chicken egg. We have chickens. This is the last one that I have, and then I have a regular store-bought chicken egg. So there's quite a big difference in the color. I'm going to show you that, but I love having chickens. It's so awesome. They're not laying as many just because the weather is getting colder and they go through a little bit of shock. So I'll put that one in. Then I got my store-bought egg. Just want to show you the difference in color. It's quite drastic. See? Yellow, orange. Having chickens, they are so healthy and organic, and they have so much more flavor. But anyway, side note, let's get back to the recipe. Okay, so I got my 1/2 cup sugar in, my 2 eggs, and the next step is to put in a whole tablespoon of salt. I know that sounds like a lot, but there's nothing worse than a roll that has no saltiness to it. It's like as bland as, I don't know what's bland. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I added the sugar, egg, salt, and I'll put in the flour. So 3 cups flour. This is kind of not how I usually am. I'm usually not very organized, but since I'm doing a video, I'm much more organized than I normally am in real life. Okay, 2 cups, and then 3 cups of flour. I kind of just shake it, shimmy. I'm not too perfectionistic with it. And then I will get that mixing. I'll just stir it until it's blended on low. 2 on this setting, so low. Just let that blend for maybe 30 seconds until it comes together. Okay, so here's what it looks like. It's still pretty lumpy and minimal blending. So the last step, I'll blend it a little bit longer, but I don't really need this very long. Okay, I'm going to get 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Everything is better with butter. And then I'll cut this in half. Just got 1/2 of a stick here. Get it in a bowl. I'm actually just going to melt it in my measuring cup. All right, I'm going to go get this melted in my microwave and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my butter melted in my measuring cup. I'm going to throw that in here. And then I'm going to add 3 more cups of flour. So this bread recipe calls for a lot of butter. That's how you know it's going to be real good. Okay, I'll add 3 more cups of flour. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So it's pretty simple. This was my last step. I'll get that mixing again. I'm going to let this one mix a little bit longer. I'm going to have it mix for about 2 minutes to get it really blended. And so, like I said earlier, I don't need it. I just mix it together. And so you save the step of having to work a little bit harder, except for you don't really have to work with the KitchenAid. It needs it for you. But it's not a crucial step in this process. Okay, I'm going to put it on more of a medium-low, just to get it going a little bit quicker. All right, I'll let that go for a few more minutes. I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so as you can see, it's stretchy. It's not too sticky. I have a little bit of flour coming onto my hands, but it's not too sticky that I can't really manage it. I like when it's a little on the stickier side because it produces a roll that's a little more dense, a little more chewy, and not as dry and fluffy, and that's kind of how I prefer my rolls and bread. And you can always put a little flour on your hands. But don't worry if it's a little on the sticky side. We're going to add flour to roll them around in, and that will make it even more workable. But for me, it's always safer to use less flour than too much. Okay, so right now I'm just going to take this off. I'm going to let it rise until it's about double in size, 1 to 2 hours. I notice my yeast rises really fast, so it usually takes 1 hour. Okay, I'm going to cover it with a cloth. And then I will be back in a few hours to show you what it looks like, and then we can do the final step. Okay, so it's been about 1.5 hours and it's doubled in size. I'm gonna show you from right here. You can tell it's risen a lot. It's smoothed out and it's come together. So what I'm gonna do next is just take this out of its bowl. Actually, I'm gonna put some flour down first because it will stick to it otherwise. I'm just going to spread it around on the counter, get that going, and then I'll just throw this on here. I'm just going to take it out like this. It's much easier to work with once it rises. Okay, and then I'll cut this into 2 separate pieces. Let me get my knife. This reminds me of when I was little and my mom would make all these fun little rolls and monkey bread, and I would just watch her and I'd help her do it, and she had so much patience. I don't have as much patience as her now as she does now when Mike has tried to help. I try to, but she is the most patient woman. Okay, so I got those in 2 separate halves about equal in size, and then I'm going to roll them out about 1 inch. It's super easy. It doesn't have to be perfectly round. I'm just going to do about 1 inch. Well, I guess that's not 1 inch. That's more like 1/2 inch. Just kind of thick. And then this is where it gets really good. I have 2 cubes of butter, and I'm going to melt them in a bowl. And then you put them into the bump pan. And this is where that buttery, crispy, burnt butter flavor gets after you cook these rolls that is just so unique and not like anything else I've ever had. Okay, so I'm gonna get this melted. Okay, so here it is, that melted goodness right there. Butter and heavy cream are pretty much staples at our house. We cannot live without that and cereal. So, okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna evenly spread it into my 2 bump pans. Okay, so I've got the butter melted in here, and then this is your final step. This is the really fun part. I'm gonna get my mason jar. It's a small mouth, wide cup, not a large mouth. And then I'm just gonna start cutting little dough balls. So each pan usually makes about 14 to 16 pieces in each one. So I'll get those going. So once I cut those out, I'll show you how I'm going to layer them. So I have 2 sides, so total you should have about 28 to 32 pieces depending on what size you cut them. Let's get it going. Okay, so I got them all rolled out. I have about 30 pieces. And the next step you're gonna do is slather these babies in butter. So I'm gonna take a piece right here and I'm gonna top both of the sides into the butter, and I'm gonna create 2 layers with these rolls. Okay, so I just take one, I leave it there, and then I take another one, and make sure you get both sides. You want both sides to be covered in butter. See how I'm just layering it? So I have 3 and then 2. It's really easy. And I'll stick that one down, and if you need to get more butter, you can always drain it over. Can you see why these things are unbelievable? They are so good. Okay, I'll just keep that one down, grab another piece, and I'll layer that over here. All right, that's basically your technique right there. Nothing else to it. Let's bring this one back over here. When I eat these, I can't help but eat about 10 if it was just me, but I have to save some for others. Okay, so I'm gonna take one out just to get that one buttered up. And then I'll take another one out so I can get more butter for it. Okay, one more should be good. Get all that butter underneath. And I'll stack that one. Okay, so I got 2 layers, and that one's ready to go. So I got all of them rolled out and put in my bump pans. The next step is I'm going to have to cover them and let them rise again. I know there's a little bit of a process when it comes to waiting for them to rise, but you know, good things take time. And this is way better than getting a packaged roll and throwing this together. I'm going to let it rise for about an hour. If you let them rise a little bit shorter, they won't be as fluffy. So I want mine to be a little bit bigger and more fluffy and just have more bite to it, right? Okay, so come back when they're ready to rise. We'll throw them in the oven at 400 degrees, 17 to 20 minutes. And then I just can't wait to show you what they look like when they come out of the oven. Okay, after impatiently waiting for about an hour, my mouth is starting to salivate. I'm so hungry. I haven't really eaten very much today. They're ready to go in the oven. So I'm gonna put them in the oven at 375. Mine tend to cook, I got some new ovens and they tend to cook a little bit hotter. If yours are normal, cook them at 400 degrees for 17 to 20 minutes. Just keep an eye on it because all ovens cook differently, so when they start to look golden brown, that's when you know they need to come out. Okay, I love these new double ovens I have. I feel like a professional chef. Okay, so it's not quite 375 yet. I get a little bit eager because it goes pretty quick, so. Anyway, can't wait to show you what it looks like. I am so excited to eat these things. Okay, here they are, they're done. Ooh, look at all that butter melting around them. Oh, they turned out so perfect. This is probably my best batch. Okay, I'm gonna get them out, bring them on the counter and dump them out and put them into a glass dish. Can't wait to show you. Okay, here I go, I'm gonna double time them. Let's bring them out into this glass dish. This is the fun part, dumping them. Whoa, look at that. Might as well layer them. Here we go. Ooh, so good. So perfect. So obviously the bottom layer is much more crispy and butter. If you're wanting to get the best piece, make sure to get the bottom pieces before everyone else does. You have to finish off, well, this is how I do it, with cold butter. Just if you thought you didn't had enough butter, you thought wrong. Okay, let's get the crispy one. Nice cold piece of butter. Oh, it's so hot. I can't wait. I like the cold butter because it has a lot more flavor and it's just a nice contrast. Ow, that is hot. Mmm. Oh, that is so good. Wow, it was really dense, chewy, cooked through, none of it's doughy. That is one of the best things I've ever had. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope it works out for you as well as it worked out for me. Talk to you later.